So the popularity of Afrobeats continues to grow year on year, but this is not just a global phenomenon, but a local one in the personal amounts I've been listening to. However, I've only ever made one Afrobeats inspired track, and that was whilst working with Native Instruments showcasing their global shake expansion. 4 years later, let's see if I can make something better. I'm going to start this one with an electric guitar, as it's often an integral part in Afrobeats, and for me carries that summertime vibe. And I'm looking for something that is melodic but also has a strong rhythm that can serve as a counter rhythm to our drum pattern.
Maybe I could get lost in you. Can't get enough of you. Baby, give me good love. Boy, you give me good love. Maybe I could get lost in you. Can't get enough of you. Baby, give me good love. Boy, you give me good love.
The thing with Electric Mint, however, is that the built-in patterns are limited to a select amount of chords, so it might not necessarily always output exactly what you input here. So for me, it can sometimes take a bit of trial and error to see what chords are available, but thankfully it shows us what chords are being output here. We're working with an R&B vocal here, and I still want to kind of achieve that R&B vibe, so major and minor sevenths all of the way here. This vocal is from Splice and it's just here as a guide, but it's also just a fun way to produce if you're not actually working with an artist. Just as a quick side note, if you are already a Splice member, I've actually made a public collection of my favorite female R&B hooks, which is always growing. So if you want to follow the collection for updates, you can do that via the link down in the description below. If you're not a Splice member already, you can use the same link, just hit the download now button or sign up for a 14-day free trial. Cool, so before we flesh out the instrumentation, let's work on the drums. So here I have a mixture of Logic stock samples and some samples from Splice. The majority of this kit is the Track Girl Lo-Fi Fills kit that comes with Logic, and I've added a few of my own samples from Splice, like this rim shot and this clap. So we have the guitar playing one rhythm, let's build a different rhythm with the drums, and let's do that using one of the rhythms that is often used. But let's spread it across our samples using different samples to accent different parts of the beat.
Maybe I could get lost in you. Can't get enough of you. Baby, give me good love. Boy, you give me good love. Maybe I could get lost in you.
Cool, so that's sounding good as a foundation for our drums. I'm just going to add a loop for the percussion and keep it moving. Cool, that sounds good.
Maybe I could get lost in you. Can't get enough of you. Baby, give me good love. Boy, you give me good love.
Right, so before we add our bass, I want to add some chords to sit underneath the guitar. I'm not a guitarist, but basic chords is something I can definitely handle. But if you don't have a guitar and you don't have anything like Electric Mint or any other guitar VST, again, something like Splice, something like Session Loops, which I might do a video on another time. With those, you can easily take guitar loops and just cut out the chords that you want and rearrange them in the way that you see fit.
Maybe I could get lost in you. Can't get enough of you. Baby, give me good love. Boy, you give me good love.
Now these aren't the exact same chords that I played with Electric Mint, but that's okay. If you know a bit of music theory, you'll see how, or you'll know how, these chords will fit into the chords that I played with Electric Mint. But if you don't know music theory, just use your ear. Just because the name of the chord may be different, it doesn't mean that it's not going to sound good over the top. And this is just a background instrument as well, it's not the main chord, so it doesn't have to have all of the notes of the main chord. Cool, so let's move on to our bass. Here I'm going to use an 808 bass from Sublab, and I just want to keep it simple and further emphasize the counter rhythm we have with the guitars.
Maybe I could get lost in you. Can't get enough of you. Baby, give me good love. Boy, you give me good love. Maybe I could get lost in you. Can't get enough of you. Baby, give me good love. Boy, you give me good love.
So this is a good start for a verse. What would you do next? comment down below. And if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for your weekly dose of R&B inspiration. I've been Stefan, and as always, happy beat making.